start the filming. There will be also recording just in case you want to revise, or you can also send it to other people because this workshop was very highly attended, or registrations were like flowing in. And yeah, my name is Andra. Maybe you can see me, but you can hear me. I'm leading the CeMeWE project here in Riga, and it's actually this workshop is very special because we have a Latvian and Estonian participants. So
Amazing.
we have a cross-border collaboration, and yeah, this is second workshop of this kind we have done with Linda about FIGMA. And maybe you can introduce yourself and what we will do today.
Sure. Yes. First, hi to everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Really, really, the first workshop was such a wonderful experience. It was my first ever, and this is my second. So basically, I'm the presenter mainly for your program, which is awesome. Yes, last time we spoke about Figma basics. We didn't get to do a lot of the things. So this time I kind of changed it a little bit so we could have more time, hands-on experience together. So at the beginning, around 20 to 30 minutes, we'll do like a little conversation about design, potentially even less, and on just a few of the principles. And then we're going to have a little activity just so we could have a look whether we understand or like recognize these little principles that will aid us later on in a practical bit. Yes, and I probably should have started. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Linda. I am a creative designer, currently working more with UX design and accessibility practices. So yeah, that's my little background. Feel free to reach out to me. Later on, we can share the contact details if needed, and I'd be happy to, yeah, keep in contact. Oh, so lovely to see you here.
No people will be able to see a little bit us because I have the camera for the audience, and they see Linda. So you can wave to the 50 people listening to us.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, and one more thing I'm going to say, I am a very nervous public speaker, so I do apologize if sometimes I lose my words. I do have my notes in front of me, and I might glimpse into them, but it's just so I don't lose track and don't waffle too much. Yes, so as you can see, today we're going to do design and Figma. A lot of you have written that there's no experience or just beginners. Switch utility goes awesome, nice. And in the room, how's the experience levels with Figma?
Do you use it?
So, and yeah, there's one person going, "Yay!" Oh, you can see, yeah, you can definitely see.
Yeah,
fantastic. And for those of you who were in the previous workshops, will probably know that I really like quotes. But however, this time I've only added one, and it's a repeat from the previous lesson, and it's by Frank Chimero. Chimero, I think is the correct way to say it. And yeah, he's a designer, writer, and educator, and all in all, wonderful person. And personally, I really, really like this quote: "People ignore design that ignores people." And I don't know, take a few seconds to just think what it means to you. And why I wanted to start with this is just a little reminder that design isn't for the designer. It is for the person that's going to encounter and engage with your designs. So if your intentions are right and if the design is good, the other person is going to want to interact. But if you fail to do that, you leave the person confused and potentially even like frustrated. So they'll just ignore it. And we have definitely seen plenty of be it products or like web sites or applications that just don't make sense. And we're like, no, I can find something better. I'll just move on. So this is why I kept it here. And I think it's a core message that we should keep in mind. And a tiny little fact before I move on, he actually wrote a book called The Shape of Design. It is The Shape, yeah, The Shape of Design. And you can buy it on Amazon and all different places, but he also released it online for free. It's his philosophy. He wants to share his design and in that way kind of encourage other people to do design well. So I found that really interesting for someone that's, you know, you could monetize it on all, but somehow he's intrinsic motivation to help others kind of preceded it. So yeah, The Shape of Design, if you want to look him up. I'll share the presentation with you later on anyway. And yeah, of course, design is important. We do need design because it does make our lives better. And in these little bubbles, there are just like 4 little examples that came to my mind first, because like good design can be on a large scale. And that's why I put the smallpox eradication program, because it's also designed, and now like it saved millions of lives. But it was a program that was designed and thought through. There was a problem, and there was a whole process to get to the, the good outcome that we got. And even this particular program, all of you here, it's not here for no reason. It's Andra and other people putting it all together and designing so you would take away some skills that will help you in your lives. Sorry. But yeah, the other things like textile recycling in general as well, that's a huge thing that is helping the earth. And it's a greatly designed thing. And the small little things like reusable water bottles that are good, but also very, very useful. Great example. And my personal favorite is with a reflective vest for my little doggy, because when we go out for a walk in the night, like she can be seen, I can be seen, I can be safe. So if you really do look around, there's design pretty much everywhere. Design is design is design is design. Sorry, there was a second quote. Oh, fantastic. And so, yeah, I think we definitely need to keep that in mind. So in order for the design to be good, I'm going to look at 3 parts: intention, work, function, and communication. But this is about intention. So good design has the intention of solving problems, and probably most of you have heard it. Good products have a really, really good solution to a really clear problem. And the more you dig and the more you find what it is that you need to fix or create or solve, the more you empathize with the person on the other side, the better the product can be. So intention is a really, really important part of it. And on the other hand, as it's written there, the lack of intention can lead to poor design, but not just poor design, it can also lead to a harmful design. But I added this little image. You're thinking, what is this 80s or 90s dude looking here? He's actually, I'm not sure whether but the product won the landfill prize of 2009. It's a plastic battery usable. Yeah, 2 batteries you need. Ice cream rotator. So you wouldn't need to lick your ice cream. So you could just put your tongue out and it will rotate it for you. Now, here is like unintentionally sort of, they thought the problem was real, but it wasn't. So it just added to the clutter of the rest of the, world. I know this is not the only product. I'm sure we can find something else. I think there was a Dragon's Den where someone had created like the ending cover on a cucumber so it doesn't go like mushy. And then I remember it was a Duncan, he just like sliced off a tiny little bit because the problem is not really big enough. It's not really necessary. It's not going to make someone's life easier. But clearly someone found it needy. But anyway, that's quite interesting. But not just that. This is sometimes, as I said, good intention can lead to good products. Unintended designs are poor, but intentionally deceiving someone, that is a dark, deceiving product. And I know this is a tiny little thing. Sorry, I got a little butter, but I hope you. So you can intentionally make a bad product, but not bad product because it's bad. It's actually good, but it's bad because it's making you feel bad. So it's trying to play on your emotions, being like, oh, I haven't seen you in a while, trying to feel you guilty, make you feel guilty. But Duolingo is actually a wonderful app. But you've seen that in UX where, for example, you sign up for a free trial and then they totally like give you so much information. You haven't read a tiny little single font, or you don't get a reminder and you end up like spending a lot of money on something that you essentially didn't need. Those are all intentional, like dark patterns. And another one that I'll quickly say is, have you ever bought like a cream or a packaging of like crisps? See, oh, this is like so much stuff. And then you open it up and the packaging is like this big and the actual product is that. That is all intentionally to deceive you. So yeah, that's harmful design. So design has to work. It has to be intentional, but it also has to work. And design uses a lot of like not nice, that's not the right word. It uses scientific principles that have been like studied and losing all my words now. Basically, like the principles are based in science, behavioral science, and I don't know, do we have any psychologists and mental health workers around here? If yes, you'll probably know. But design is connected to that. It needs to take in consideration how we perceive information. What's important, it's not decoration, it's actually functional. So design has to work. And last time we had a big conversation about is what design is and what design isn't. And there was this: design is not art. And obviously, design does need to have some creativity and artistic knowledge, and everything can be really beneficial to make wonderful designs. But it does have a purpose. Art doesn't necessarily need to work, but design for sure needs to. And again, a couple of little. Is everyone okay? Sorry if I'm talking too much, then give me a little like emoji and I'll shut up. I'm just trying to get through this bit so we can get to the hands-on bit. But another great example for this is, I don't know, if you look at the photo, does anyone know? Oh, thank you, Annie. Does anybody know of this particular project? No? Anyone? No. It was this project that tackled scarcity of water in Africa. And what was it? Let me have what was the name? Play pump. Yes, play pump. And great like idea to have like a little merry-go-round so the kids could kind of play with a little wheel, go around, and it's installed on a well. So the kids play and the water is pumping. Great. That's really, really good. Do you see any issues with it? What's your first?
Maybe if the water comes out and it's not collected, it's just like wasted. Like they play so much that they waste water.
That actually, it's interesting, but I didn't look on that bit. But the problem that it did get across was suddenly the fun bit was no longer fun. It was work. And essentially, like even labor at times, you had to have like kids playing, you had to have parents and adults come in and help at the moments when the water is needed. I don't think it overflows. I think it just brings the water up. But they, instead of keeping the pump and having no clear pump picture what the construction is. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, sorry. So basically, yeah, it's a well and a little merry-go-round. So like a little wheel that you turn around to pump water out from the well. But they replaced the pumps with this. And now suddenly, like if that broke, people didn't have the skills to fix it. They might have had the skills to fix a little water pump because it's quite clear. So they spent all of that money to implement it, and then they had to replace it back to the regular pumps. So again, like they hadn't clarified like their intention, their key message, and they hadn't done that iteration and questioning about whether really from all possible angles it's going to fix something. Is everyone still good? Awesome. And the second one, again, like it's nice artistic houses and artistic things, but if you had to live in a house, you'd probably choose a house that is made by an architect, Ante, for example. Although this is very cute, it probably wouldn't hold up at all, unless in some interesting futuristic, some sort of world. And thirdly, design communicates. And I think most people think of design as a form of communication, which it is. And it needs to be understood and it needs to be experienced. So this is called the Norman door, and you've probably all gone through them plenty of times. But I don't know if you know what affordance is. It's basically like on a button when it's raised, like, oh, it's raised, if and it has like text, click here. So it's like an affordance. I'm going to click it. I know it's clickable. It's raised. I know it's going to click, and then it goes down. And we're like, okay. So here as well, you'd think that this is to pull. And then they have to explain that, no, this is not to pull, but this is for push. So again, like it confuses a person. And no matter how many times they write that and create the wrong affordance, that's a failure in design. So those are the little things worth thinking as well. But yeah, very, very popular. And then one of my favorites, on the first glimpse, what do you think the product is?
It's so confusing. At first I saw the mouth, then it's hand sanitizer, and it's kind of counterintuitive. It's like, was it for mouth or for hands?
Exactly. And here it is, like it can be harmful. And they wanted to kind of continue with their brand guidelines. So they let the oral leave drive mouth relief, but it's a hand sanitizer. And initially, like if you don't pay attention, probably someone has had that because it has ended up on the design fails of the world wide web.
So basically, that small text is their motto, because they have other products.
Yeah, exactly, and they're all like on the oral care. But during the pandemic, they created this to share, and the intention
should have taken out that.
Yeah, but the intention was good. They wanted to give the sanitizer, but then that should be the most important thing on the packaging. I had this during the pandemic, the little COVID tests, and they have these little things that you need to put on the little liquid. I'm sorry, don't come from the medical world, but I also have really dry eyes. And I had two of them, they were almost the same. And I put it in my eye. Thankfully, it was nothing like, I'm okay, my eyes are still here. But it was really scary. And it was like my mental model of it. It looked like a little thing, to clip in the eye, to drop in the eyes. Oh, yes, Anastasia, the house. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. So poor design really can be misinterpreted. So always when you make something, even if it's in design, like in FIGMA, just kind of look at it from other angles. And last time we spoke about how important it is as a designer to have the strength and willingness to share your designs, because a designer doesn't work in isolation. And even doing this presentation, I mulled over this one slide for a long time, and then I was like, oh no, I've looked at it too long. And I shared it with a fellow designer of mine, be like, can you look at it, be like, oh yeah, that's not working. And I know at the beginning it's difficult because you're afraid that someone's going to judge you or la la la. But no, like that's the way forward. Like that's the way to minimize the clutter of like nonsense products or things, is to just kind of ask other people's opinions and to help you see something that maybe after 20 hours you can't see yourself. Cool. Oh, sorry, I was just reading the comments. I'm going to quickly go back. So I wrote these couple things as a key messages for this part, and I hope you can agree. And perhaps like those of you who are in the room or those of you that are in the digital world, can you just write down like one little great piece of design that you think is very intentional and definitely makes your life better? Can you say any like that comes to mind? My Stanley water bottle is probably one. I always think like I walk in the forest and I walk with it full and it hydrates me, but also if somebody comes from around, then I can go on smack them. Not that I want to. Oh, Canva, nice, very good. But yeah, do remember that good design does require these key things like intention, function, and clear communication. We're going to look at it, and it does make our lives better on many scales, but do remember that unintentional design just will clutter things around. Cool. All right. Now we're going to quickly whiz through these because I don't want to hold you too long. So it feels like two people have shared their favorite things, and it's Canva. So good job, Canva.
It could be like many people who like Canva actually are
It's good.
curious about Figma, but I think they're quite, they seem similar, but they're actually different.
Oh,
I think last
Nespresso.
time when we had a previous workshop about Figma, then yeah, I think you explained well, like what else there is in Figma.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. We'll go into Figma and you'll see like we'll try and do a little more, but Canva is a great thing. I haven't used it that much, but I had to use it for a presentation where people collaborate, and I thought, oh, that's really nice because you can collaborate. A lot of things are made easy. But an espresso machine, as a fellow coffee lover, absolutely love it. Cool. So design principles. How many of you have heard what design principles are? You have any ideas? No, some smiles, which is
You
good.
know the first four, but not the fifth.
Oh, that's, yeah, we're gonna briefly touch on this. Don't like Canva, working mostly in Adobe InDesign. That's good. That was my first big softwares. Oh, right. So again, when it comes to design principles, yeah, guide good design and help designers communicate meaning more effectively. That's a nice little like wrap up of what it is. But there are many of them. Some people say there are 12, some people say there's like, I think there's an acronym of CRAP, which is like contrast, repetition, a something. And I can't believe I actually forgot it. Sorry? Proportion, yeah, but A was attention, I think. So yeah, there are many things, and a lot of people will use different things, but sort of like for today's lesson, we're going to focus on scale, contrast, hierarchy, balance, and the Gestalt. Again, I think there was no one from the psychological background. Is that how you say it? But they would definitely recognize that. Cool. Let's head forward. So scale. Scale uses relative size to signal importance and rank in a composition. So there are many ways that you can make things more important. So for example, if you have like a big poster and it says like wanted, like this thief is wanted, and then like, you know, the old Western like posters, you know, that's the most important message. This like cowboy is wanted. But you can also use scale to create depth. So like the closer things will appear bigger, and the further things are, they will appear smaller. So it's a really good thing to keep in mind when you do any sort of design work, be it in Figma for an application. You know that like, oh, by scale, I can really draw this attention to this image for this particular screen. So keep that in mind. That's a really good one. Sometimes it's called dominance, emphasis, and proportion as well. Contrast. It creates visual difference to show that elements are different. I think with contrast, there's so much you can do, and we'll have a look at some of the ideas and posters, or maybe we can even try and do it in our own work. An easy way to create contrast is, well, the easiest way to create contrast is definitely with color, and we'll definitely explore that later. I think, oh, there's one. Yeah, I'll show it to you later. A great design fail on how the lack of understanding of contrast can like totally change the whole message of what was said. Sorry, I feel like I keep talking faster and faster, but we're almost there. And hierarchy, probably one you're most familiar with. I can see that most of you are probably students, and most of us have like read things, be it on the computers or whatnot. It's a lot of the times like used in text, but it doesn't necessarily need to be used in text. It can be used with shapes, with color in this particular scenario. But basically, yeah, it does exactly what it says on the tin. You place for example, you don't expect when you read a book the title to be tiny, and then like suddenly the second paragraph with no main message to be like in capital letters, huge, bolded. So one thing to keep in mind is like, oh, I can actually draw attention with this. Maybe I'll embolden this text. I'll put it at the top. I'll make the font bigger. But not, I know in this particular example, it's on the top, but it doesn't need to be, especially when you use like posters or applications. The biggest thing doesn't always need to be on top. And if you look at the other principles and some that we're going to see later on, you can play around. And I encourage you to play around because sometimes the weirdest combinations can actually work. So yeah, definitely go wild. You can also use bright colors on like, the last little thing I'm going to say on this, I often do, for example, hierarchy. I would have it as 100% dark color, but then if there's like bullet points or, for example, this little text, I could bring it down to 80%. So it feels like it's a little less prominent. And yeah, that works a lot. A lot of people use it, especially in applications where you have a tiny little screen, but you have to play about what you want them to see first. And balance, I think, similarly to hierarchy, probably one of the familiar ones for most, because it's a word that we use a lot in many life situations. But here, for example, it's not the same shape, but it's still balanced, despite the fact that like the other shape is the same color, but because the bottom bit is a bit darker and separated, it still works, it still looks balanced. But balance doesn't necessarily need to be two shapes of the same thing. I'm trying to think of like a poster or something. Imagine there's like a massive one big ball on the bottom and 3 or 4 or 5 on the top, but that occupy the same space. You can still have like an asymmetric balance. You could have a contrast that's also balanced between the black and the white or something. So we'll look at some of the examples as well, but just like, I don't know. Yeah, keep that in mind. That's an important.
Yeah. Like, is balance a combination of scale and hierarchy, like with different sizes?
It could be. It could be, yeah, it can be, because again, this is where the thing about the principles is all
kind of mixed,
yeah, exactly. Like it could be the hierarchy, yes, and you can create a balance with all of those elements. But also, if you think about rhythm, or if you have like, we'll have a great example. We'll watch the opening scene of the morning show. I think that's going to show a lot. But yes, it is a combination, not just of scale hierarchy, but also other things. Yeah, proportion is a good element to think about balance. Exactly. Yeah, it's sometimes like when you look at the screen, like you see it, but then we'll see it in an example and then it will all make sense. But yes, don't think that balance is just two same things. It can be all of it. And again, it just like when you think of balance, no matter what it is, just imagine an axis on top and on here, and then you can play around. I think in photography, when you, there's like the 2/3 of like where you need to place subject.
I usually just feel it, but I think I'm just gifted. I can feel the balance because maybe my strength to it.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like imagine if it's like, yeah, if these were like blocks that had a weight, would they like kind of fall or would they balance each other? Like, they're on the weight.
Oh, these, yeah.
Sometimes, one thing is here and then it would just balance.
Yeah. I was thinking forgot the word of the
scale.
Yeah, the scale, or there was another word for it, but I always forget it. But yeah, that's another good for balance. But this actually, as you said, as you come from the photography field as well, will go really nicely into the next one, because you just said it without knowing. You're like, oh, I just feel it. And there's truth to it. People do not see individual pieces first. They see the overall pattern. And this is something that probably all of us intrinsically feel. If you went like to a football game, you know that these particular colors and these guys or girls that are playing, they wear the same color, so you know, like, okay, they belong together. And you could look at design principle in it, you know, if it was a still photograph of it, or it's actually just how our minds work. They just like to organize things. They like to make sense. And it's been years of studies of our minds, and it's all kind of also introduced in these little principles. But yeah, Gestalt, again, we're just going to briefly go through it. Proximity, similarity, closure, continuity, figure, and ground. There's a little text to it. I see that we're might have a little shorter break then. But yeah, proximity, I think it's pretty straightforward. You kind of understand that people that are more close to each other, not people, sorry, things that are clustered together, they belong together. Similarity, the football players, for example, that's a good thing. Or if you have those things are grouped together, for example, their similarity, because they're the same, and that's a different thing. So, those are two different groups. Closure is interesting because your mind fills in the shapes, even if you don't see the entirety of the shapes. For example, you see a logo and some things like cutouts, but it's going to fill the whole shape. Oh my God, I think I just said it wrong. I'm sorry. Continuity, where it flows, movement, and direction. And figure and ground is like we see in 3D. So even when we look at things, when I said about scale, when you have something bigger in front and something smaller behind, it will give that impression. We will understand that it's like, oh, something's closer, something's further. We can definitely play with this. Whew, spoken a lot. I'm sorry. And like some people photograph all right, the morning show. I will now just wondering, let's have a quick look. And I really would like to see, after this little bit that we spoke about, the principles and what do you feel when you see this? Are there any of the principles that are very clear in that opening scene? Is there something within the story, if you haven't seen it, what do you think it's about? Or if you have seen it, maybe it gives you a little more understanding of what it is. But now I need to go into, I think I need to share the wrong.
Video?
There is a video, but I need to add windows and this window.
I think,
Yeah.
For Zoom, we don't have it. For Zoom, we have only the previous one. Not sure. We have it for person. So basically, they still see the logo.
Can you? Do you know what? They see. I will put a link. For those balanced colors, bringing feeling of sunshine. Oh yes. Okay, for those of you who are not here, here's a link to their Behance.
I think if you check my camera, technically this camera will show our screen because it's like different screen window. That's why you don't see it now. No, but just feel free to open the video on your own computers.
And if she were able to show me how much you care, you probably spoil your tongue by now. Oh, I'm trying to say, guys, you know, the girl that I left home it's my Jones. Jones.
So let's just be going to.
We have also some comments that it was eye-catching, cool design.
I need to get back to the place I was.
I think it's very live, even though it was like 2D shapes, it felt like real things interacting.
Yeah. Oh, I'm still sharing the.
In Zoom, we have the slides. In person, we will go back to the slides. It's there. So yeah, if you want
Am I back? Yeah, I think I am back. Cool. What wasn't that art? What purpose did it serve? Oh, this is a great question. Yes, I don't know if you, Amberly, if you watched the show yourself, but have any of you watched the morning show here? Does anyone?
Actually, no.
No, it is a great show. I have watched it. So, Ladislava, I'm gonna first ask you a question. Now that you have watched the show and you have seen the opening credits, did it make you feel different? Did you look at some of the details and be like, "Oh, I can like see the relation to what happens in the show"? I'm wondering, waiting, seeing whether that will make sense. But the story is basically about this big morning show and this big. Suddenly forgot the word. Media company. What you call it? Like in America, yeah. And the power always changes. Somebody stabs. I was thinking right away about the Black Sheep Broadcasting Company. Thank you, Annie. The balance between the power in the show changes a lot. And when you had the balls, like they go to one side because suddenly these two are friends, and then like they backstab each other, and then these are friends, and they backstab each other. And it's this constant like relationship. And when you see these little balls, it's very artistic to answer the question, definitely. But the communication and the purpose of it, if you watch the show and watch it all, you can kind of really follow the story. And that link that I added in, it's actually there's an article and explanation on a lot of those choices. But it's, in my eyes, just absolutely brilliant. Yeah. So actually, at this point, I thought perhaps I could kindly ask you to scan this if you can, and head to this FIGMA board. Is that all right?
If they use computer, then it's better that they have it on. If they scan with phone, then they're not.
Perfect. Yes, I'm going to share the link as well because it's
Or maybe if you scan it, then you also see the link.
Sorry, I had to move it a little bit. Big jump.
It's gonna.
I'm gonna quickly stop.
You can stop the share and then send the link.
Yes.
If you scan the QR code, technically you will get the link, but maybe it's hard for you to copy it and open it in your computer.
I'm gonna, sorry, it disappeared for a little bit, but it's on sort of on purpose. I'm trying to make sense of this tiny little screen. All right, I can see you all. Yeah. So created it so you could. We're gonna do a little. Anyone? Maybe. Oh, I can see people come in. Nice. Copy link to. I'm just gonna. So I just thought perhaps you could vote on a few of the things that you have seen. Right.
Is it possible for you to share also on Zoom?
Oh, I did. I added a link.
Yeah, but share your screen because then it will be great for the recording.
I'm sorry.
Those who maybe
Of course.
don't want to open it for some reason.
Can you all see?
You see it also.
Nice.
So,
So yeah, I just cool.
Either here or you can check it on your own link.
Perfect. It's just like a little.
Cool.
Right, it's interesting. I'm going to go into the FIGMA file as well.
You can share the link.
Oh. I like to see all of the little people moving around. Oh yes, it's such simple forms are presented so interestingly. That is exactly what I thought first time I saw it. How interesting how just a single like ball essentially can move around and tell such a story. Cool. Nice contrast. And again, there's no really like one definitive answer. There's one that kind of stands out more, but please don't feel the need to.
I can't seem to access it, or I can't seem to vote on it. I'm not sure why.
Really? Okay. What's your name? Can I see you? Oh, sorry. I need to go into.
Lauren,
Lauren.
I've tapped on it, but maybe it's because I'm using my phone. I don't, my laptop's not working, so I'm not able to.
Maybe because of the phone. Do you have FIGMA?
From phone, it's kind of loading really slow. So maybe it's better to just watch on Zoom and then.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It does. Yeah, it should. If you logged into FIGMA, or potentially if you have even an app on FIGMA, then it might open faster. I'm sorry.
But from phone, it doesn't work. Probably yes, good, and maybe there are some less functions.
I'm sorry.
But you can follow along on the screen.
Yeah, I'm just watching. So I think I don't. Yeah, there's an issue of me not having an account, so that's why.
So maybe if you're from phone, then you can watch the Zoom, but at least you know how it works, and then when you get to a computer, you can also try it out.
Cool. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Oh, cool. Yeah, I see that some of you have opened the answers already, but yes, they're there for you to see anyway. I just thought like it's quite nice after you've seen it to put your thoughts on what it is. But I know I think, finish the one thing that I wanted to say is there's a prominent principle, but I can see pretty much almost all of them and all of them in some ways or another. It's just like the main forefront of the principle might be one. But yeah, it's interesting to see you all. Okay, we have a clear winner on the first, which is the scale, which is what it meant to be, but I totally understand the contrast because although the small ball is black, it's really strong. Cool. Nice. Proximity. Very good. Nice. Yeah, I can see actually like on the blue one, you could have it as a proximity as well because you know they belong together. So see how interesting how different principles come to mind, and for each one of you, like the mental model of certain thing might be a little stronger than the other.
I think someone is moving away from this stuff.
Oh yeah, I thought I.
Yeah, look at. If you move something too far, I think you can press Ctrl Z. It'll come back.
I love these little like blue things that appear. It's fine, like it's there for you to. I sent a link on the screen as well with a link to the Behance profile, and most of this information is there as well. It doesn't necessarily have the principle explained there, but I can copy these things after. In the main thing was like the top But just to check in, how do you all feel? Do you need a little 5 minute break? Yeah. So, oh, you're on a computer and you can't access it. Do you have a Maria Laura? Do you have a Figma account?
Yeah, maybe that's because I have account and it just
No, I don't. I guess that's embarrassing to admit that, but no, I have not opened it up an account. So that's why I think it's asking you to log in to do that. So
It's not
maybe
embarrassing at all, yeah. But you said that you're on the phone, aren't you? So maybe like after you can look in the recording because the next move we're going to go into Figma design, and you'll definitely need an account there. And I'm not you won't be able to do it from the phone, sadly, but I'm sorry about that. So why all is moving all the time? So yes, I can answer you. I did click and put to lock layers, but someone maybe like double clicked it and unlocked it for some reason. It just disappeared. How about I will share this FigJam board with all of you after, and you can look at it in your own time. But yeah, the whole reason why it's all moving around is because it had accidentally unlocked and things are moving around.
If you long press or double press, then you will
yeah, unlock it. But that is fine. At least like most of you voted, you saw the clip and you saw like I see that you have your own thoughts on the principles and that's awesome. Cool. I thought maybe you could have a 5 minute break to just like stretch your legs and have a sip of water, and then we'll dive into Figma because I genuinely thought this was going to take 13 minutes, but it didn't. But we're going to speed up on Figma. So before you go, if you could please make sure that you have the practice file. Second, that you have an account and that you're logged in and everything's working. All right. And I'll see you here in 5 minutes, which is 58 past. Cool. Thank you. Is everyone okay? We stay Slavi? All good? Oh, this is my second presentation, and I kid you not, I put it into like ChatGPT and said like, how long is this going to take? Oh, 20 minutes. It's gonna be fine. I was like, okay, 20 minutes. Today's like, okay, maybe 30. Yeah.
Atvainojos, vai tas bija domāts, ka tur vēl kaut kas jābalso tajā lapā?
Jā, Gonita, jā, tur redz, kur, zin kā es varbūt par to tagad uzreiz izdarīšu, tur ir tāds tā kā poll, redzi zem, under the visual principles, for example, es pārēšu uz angļu valodu, there's like a little poll, yeah, and you need to click which principle do you think was used there, and then you submit the answer and click votes.
It's like a test.
Yeah, like a little, but that's not like a...
That's thinking if you can see the principles Linda talked about.
Yeah.
Nu jā, ja kāds nebūtu atslēdzis un viss pārbīdījies, tad varbūt cilvēki to būtu uzreiz uzķēruši. Es to pamanīju tagad, ka vairs neviens neko nebīda.
Es pilnīgi paskatīšos, man liekas, man bija vēl viens fails. Tu vēlies to izdarīt tagad, vai es varu tev pārsūtīt to pēc tam?
Vienkārši pārsūtiet pēc tam gan
pēc tam, jā, droši. What is, yeah.
Paldies, jā. Paldies.
Which link will you use now after the break?
After the break from, oh yeah, the Google.
Yeah, would you share the link again because not all of you have wait. Okay. Yeah. Feel free to take some tea or take a little break, and I'm sharing the link. And they download the link, and then you will tell them how they open because it's like a file.
It's they just need to save it on a computer and then open it as a hard copy.
No, it's 10 minutes, but I think we will have less than 10.
Yeah, I know.
Žinai, svarbu, kad reikia mėginiai iš Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. I think at this point, I'm not really seeing the comments. So if there is something.
Yeah, basically,
Oh, no, maybe I'm
the link to
Hey,
Google Drive.
perfect.
Have the file. I also downloaded it, but how to open it was my question. I downloaded and then what to do with the file.
Do you have a Figma?
FIGMA app on my computer.
So if you click on it, you should be able to, if you go into Figma, you can import a file or you can left click.
I also use the browser FIGMA, like the Google Chrome. So sometimes this laptop I use it from browser because it's big quicker than inputs in the app. It's computer app is usually better.
Yes, you can. Let's try. It's on here, FIGMA practice file. So I open with copy. So yeah, mine goes automatically into the.
When you double clicked or
I put a left click.
left click.
And then so left click and then open with, and FIGMA then appears in a little thingy.
Okay. So you can just kind of open the file. You just have to choose like which program to open with.
Yeah, I would have. If I had had an educational profile, I could have invited all of you in.
Oh, okay. For mine, I have Windows computer, and I clicked on the file, and I saw open with, and then I saw only look for app, but then there was more apps, and under more apps, I can see Photoshop, Figma,
Okay.
and so on. So that's one way, and I guess also if you open the Figma, you probably can open it there as a
On browser. Yeah, I can see that someone has opened like in. So yes, Lauren, you definitely need a Figma account to be able to open. It's you can, if you register, you can have a free account, so it will cost you nothing, and you'll be able to open it. But I don't think it allows you to go in and do it.
And if you maybe have Gmail, it's very quick to register because you can just connect it to your email and you have an account basically.
But also, because I think you said that you were on the phone, the file is going to be sent to all of you after as well. Hopefully, on us, but if you could do that together with the FigJam, and then you'll be able to recreate things. Okay, so is everyone in? Yeah, go on.
Somehow open file, which are in in the Google Drive link, yeah. So if you see
download that,
there is a Google Drive link, and inside of the Google Drive there is this Figma file. So it's like a file you can open in the.
Perfect. Yeah. Yes, of course. No, that's all right.
Yeah, Linda will just check the people here, and I will send the link again.
Or if you go to the flag, you can let's play around. Oh, where's the file? Open it, and we have just a browser that could be one of these. How does it, like, for some it doesn't allow to open in a browser?
I think that could be also one of the problems. I'm also now trying to open it on the browser because for some reason
I can share the. There was a reason why I didn't share it.
One person said you can drag the file into the browser on Figma when it's opened. So maybe that also works.
Because if I add you the link, you won't be able to, like, it's really gonna lag, and then we'll all struggle to work and things will start moving around. That's why I created it in this way. Let's see how everyone's doing. Did you download the app? Yeah. Yeah. As a Zoom the links was
Very much fine. The link is either in WhatsApp or in Zoom.
Zoom is that was a Zoom link. I got it. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. Ready? Yes. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yep. Yeah. I was asking, please get conversation. So file?
There's some
It's in
WhatsApp group.
You're in what?
Oh, okay, I'm gonna share it.
Yeah, you can just, don't worry, you know what? Just open FIGMA and log in. No, this one.
Okay, we're helping people, and then we will have to wait a bit till everyone will
Be able to. Then you download it, and you. Weird. It's fine. Just open FIGMA and go into a design file. I'll be back there in a second. We don't need to open that file necessarily if it's trouble. We can just open a blank file and start from there. All the details you will see on my screen. So it would have been nice for you to see this, but it's okay. So now we're going to browse. Perfect.
It says, did you join WhatsApp? Is there still someone joining?
Sorry, I had to answer the questions. So yes, for those of you who are having problems, just open an empty design file and we can all do it together. It doesn't necessarily need to be that. I will send it to you. It will have some additional reminders and shortcuts and information, but we can work and do a lot of things without it.
Yeah, that's great. So if you can't open the file, you can just open like a new empty project.
Exactly, yeah. I can't see the chat, but I'm hoping everyone is. Yeah.
Someone fixed some issues, and I think someone is.
Yeah, it's really weird that there are people that it works for and some no. Okay, but for those of you who are in the FIGMA file, this is basically our workspace. Like I have added a little orientation frame here. After when you're going to have this document, you'll be able to see. But do you all know how to open a new file in FIGMA? I think the ones in the room have done it, but you can, if you already have something open, you can just click on this little thing, or we can click home. Can you all see my screen? Yeah, there's like a lot of things. And we are going to choose the design file. So click on that and it will open a new little tab. And here you can name it whatever you like, test. So yours is going to look empty and mine is a little more populated, like, well, yours is like this. Let's start with a little toolbar. I thought like we could, last time I kind of showed around the toolbar and like did a little orienteering, but then I realized we didn't have enough time to just do things. So today we're gonna learn by doing, but just in a few steps. Here, FIGMA has done like the main little things on the bottom are listed. So this is like a little, if you press spacebar, for example, see, it will change into a little hand and you can just move around your canvas. So the gray part behind is canvas. You can also change the color to it because some people prefer like the dark mode and stuff. The next one is frame tool. We're gonna work on it soon. Some shapes, pen tool, so you can freely draw something, text, comment, and this is really interesting. If at any point you get confused, press Command K and ask, for example, rectangle, and it'll help you. So if you forget where something is, Figma Help is really good and it'll be really useful. And here, keep it on the design bit. I have a paid version, so I have a dev mode. Some of you might not. But this is basically a bar that you end up using a lot. But the more you use it, the more you're going to start using like little shortcuts, and they're in the file as well. Or you can actually, Figma is full of like great resources for that. Here on the left-hand side, we have the navigation panel. We have the layers. So I actually have few frames, few sections. Here we have files and assets. I'm going to go into it in detail later on. And here, if you need to get back to the main menu, this is for the file that we're working on. And this little house is back to the place where you can go to community, you can look for templates, there's so many resources. There are free UI kits and stuff like that. So today we're like doing it from the ground up, but later on when you feel more comfortable, like most of it is already done and there's so much good stuff. And then I can't see. And then on the other side, at the moment, because you have nothing on there, you probably don't have much, just this. There's a prototype bit and a design bit. But if I click on a frame, oh, actually I locked it. So yeah, this is how you can lock. It's a little easier than it is in FigJam, like you don't have to wait. But if I select it here, see, a whole new panel comes up with all of these different little toggles and stuff. And we'll go through most of them today. So why don't we just like dive in actually and start playing. So the first little thing, number one, those are the things we are going to try and do. And then once we get through these, well, actually, I might leave the last little bits for later. Then we have a couple of things that we can practice on, either an Instagram post or a little app. I'm wondering, actually, I could bring this a little closer. And in order to save time, perhaps we can actually start with an app and do something together. So, all right, the first thing we're going to need to do is to create a frame. If you click F on your computer or go on the bottom, see there's the little like hashtaggy type thing. And now you see a little cross appears. So you can drag a frame out like this, or if you select it, you can also click here and choose whatever you want. So we have different things. We have iPhones, we have iPads, we have MacBooks, blah, 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 screens. What we're going to choose is iPhone 17 today. Okay. I have little layout guides here, and we can add them. But at the same time, I think let's just play and use the tools first, and then we'll work with the alignment. Okay, so has everyone managed to create a little frame? Yay! All right, let's name it app. Cool. Now let's create an avatar. So we drag in. If you press O on your screen or click here on the bottom, you can draw a little circle. If you don't hold the Shift key, then it'll be like all wobbly and doesn't come out perfect. But if you click it and hold, is it a Shift key? The little or capsule? Yeah, Shift. Yeah. Let's do 100 by 100. So has everyone managed to draw a circle? If you feel like you want something bigger, then here on the side, there's a layout. And we can see it's 102 by 102. Now, if I click this little lock aspect ratio, I can just do 100 and it will be the same. Has everyone managed to do that? Awesome. I know the beginnings are slow. Okay, cool. Now we are going to bring in a photo. Let's click, double click. And you see the fill at the moment is on D9, D9, D9. If you click on the little color, here you can choose whatever you want, if you want it. There are different things that you can choose, like a gradient, a pattern, an image. So if you don't bring an image, it'll give you this kind of prototypey, wireframey little bit. But I'm going to be cheeky and I'm going to ask AI to bring it in. Actually, let's not. Has everyone gotten here? To bring in an image, you need to click Command. Oh, sorry. Oops. Ooh. Shift, Command, and K, that is to bring in an image. But it's easier to do the way that we did. So here, make an image or upload from computer. So whichever you want, let's bring one. woman, red hair. Kids. I didn't open a ChatGPT. Now, this is really interesting. I want to know whether it's because I have a paid version or no. I double-clicked on because of the paid one. Okay, in that case, ignore. I'm just being like lazy. That's why I did it. But you can bring in an image, or alternatively, if you don't want to go through your own stuff, have any of you tried to use plugins? That is a really, okay, this is interesting. If you press the Command K, this little thing on the bottom, what you can do is you can bring in a plugin. I have brought it already, Unsplash. And that is great if you start using like prototypes, and you can just put one.
Plugins are like this
Woman,
icon there, like that looks like U shape.
Yeah, and then you can bring an image from here. Has everyone managed to bring in a photo? Cool. How did I make an image? That was on a paid profile, so I'm sorry. But you can bring in Unsplash or bring in some image, whatever image from your computer, just so you have something and you have prepared it. Okay, so now we have created a little avatar. We're going to add a text layer. That's super easy. Shortcut is T, press T. And then there are two ways. If you click it once, you can just start Jamie Oliver, for example. You can just start typing. Or if you press text, you click and you drag, it'll create the entirety of like the shape that you can fill with text. See, like I could go on and fill it all in. If I had used the option 1, it would just keep going in a long, long, long line. But today,
like where to find the options? Like you said that there's one option and
oh yeah, so if you put T and you click, it will be a long string of text. If you press T, click and drag, you can drag it to the size you need.
Yeah, I usually just like draw the box, and then I know that I will write in the box. So I didn't know actually that you can just press and then write a long, long, long line.
That is the nice thing about Figma. You can like there are many different Jamie Oliver. Let's imagine she's Jamie Oliver. And here on the side, the text is selected, and you see the little typography. Today, we are not going to go into the crazy details of all the settings. You can do line heights and do calculations, so all your like layouts match and the spaces would match and stuff like that. But today, let's just choose one font that you like. Let's say I'll go with, I don't know, in Riga. I want to make the font, I don't know, 32. No, definitely not 32. 24, for example. And cool. All right, we had this. Now let's align the two things together. So to select both things, one thing, again, to remember if you press space, you can move around and nothing is like touched and moved. If I now move around with the little thingy, it's going to move all the objects away. But what I can do is I will bring this, select both of these elements. Is everyone okay? Yeah? I meant I can't find how to do it. Can you please say what image type you are using? Within FigJam? Is it FigJam or Figma? Oh, I'm doing Figma design. Yeah, not, but I have a paid version, but also a free version, but you should be able to just get the free one, Lauren. Okay, cool. So here, if you have two elements, we can align it to the middle or to the side, however you want your avatar to look. And then you can make it look nice. But see, there's a little line here in the middle. Now, Figma is really smart. It wants to help you be consistent. It wants to make your life easier. So I'm like, oh, the space between that is too big. So I'm just going to drag it up. Leave it at 14. But if you don't want to do it here, or sometimes the little line is not visible, if the two elements are selected, you can find the same thing here. Visually, like, it makes sense. Can you see, like, on the right-hand side, there's a number 14? So I could do like 40. Let's go back to 14. Okay. Now, if you have put avatar of yourself, for example, we've done alignment. Okay. So the difference, we just created an app and it's a frame. And in Figma, most of the people will use frames to do things. But here we want these two elements to be together, but I don't want to really add any backgrounds to them. I just want to move them as one. So I can select it and Command G. Command or Control, I guess, for those of you who have Mac.
To group?
Yeah, to group. And if you don't know the shortcut, you could just select it. If you don't know where to find it, you can go like, oh, please group the selection and do it that way. So always check for the help if you can't find something. And now if I move, I'm like, oh yes, I can move it. Fantastic. Cool. So constraints. It is unlikely that we're going to use it much today. I think that's going to, I found myself using constraints actually later on when I need to adjust it on, like there's an app and then I want to create a tablet, for example, view, then I would put the constraints, but I can quickly show you. So for example, I'll add this image and I want it on the x-axis to be on the 80 and on the y-axis to be on 80 as well, for example. And you can see there's this little square. It's the same thing. At the moment, the constraint is to the left and to the top. Now, what it means that now if I decided to move, it stays at the same time, same place. Now I'm like, oh, actually, I want it to the middle. And it moves along. And perhaps like now it's like, oh, it's not really useful. But there will be time once your little app screen will suddenly have about 5, 6 elements, and you'll want to, I don't know, make an app a little wider for a different phone. You're like, oh, I haven't added the constraints, so now I need to manually drag each frame, each little color to the sides and rearrange it. So it's just a nice thing to keep in mind. And especially now when you're practicing, it's a good thing to do. Is everyone following? And then I have only color option to fill. You have only color option to fill. Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's
free one.
For me, like maybe it's hard to understand where are, like for me it was like a little bit different than Linda's screen, but since I know that there is a fill, the first one is like solid, then there's like this kind of different icon for gradient, then pattern, then image, and then video. But maybe it's hard to find the where to change the fill to image.
So if you click and fill here for the free one, it doesn't show these things.
Basically, you have to, if you see Linda's cursor, you have to
gradient.
Yeah, after the word custom, there are like 5 options that looks like different squares.
Yeah.
And each square is like different type of fill, so you can always fill it differently. You just need to know that you can do it. If you know that you can do it, then you will be able to find it. Sometimes you will need like a solid color, sometimes gradient, sometimes image, but it's all under the fill.
Cool. Exactly. And then you can change the appearance and you can change like the opacity and transparency. All right. So I don't have social media, but I think we can start. Let's create this as if it was social media. For example, if you have the avatar, let's bring Jamie Oliver here. Now I'm going to add text under and I'm going to write, I don't know, likes nature and swimming in the open ocean. Okay. I'm going to make it 14. oops, sorry, that was the wrong thing to press. I'm going to change the size to, let's do 12. And I'm going to make the text box a little wider. Is everyone managing to do that? Ooh, yay! Yes, that's a great cat. Awesome. Thank you. What does D&D mean? I actually don't know. Sorry? Oh, okay. All right. So now we have these little things. Has everyone managed to do this? Do we now have a little name? Align it. Cool. All right.
No, it just aligns, yeah. Was it 2 text boxes? Yeah, 2 text boxes.
I created 2 text boxes. Yes. You could do it in the same one, but if you then want to change the fonts, then it's better to have like 2 different ones. I know like during this particular thing, we haven't even done yet like the styles and things, but I think it's not necessarily needed at the beginning. And that's the mistake I did last time. But okay, so let's get further. Now we're going to, is there like a follow button? Yeah, on socials. Let's create a little follow button. Actually, I'm going to make this even smaller. No, not that small. Okay.
Or you can do contact or like send an email and follow.
Okay. So I want these things to be together. So I'm going to click Command G, and then you can now align these 2 elements to the top, for example. All right, there are a couple of ways to make buttons. And again, once you work with Figma a little more, you'll be able to just like bring in buttons that have been made already and then destroy them and then put them together the way you want, for example. Okay, so let's start with pressing T again. And we are going to click here. So what could the button say? So follow, yes. Let's do, this will be 14. I'm going to do it on, not the greatest font for it, but we'll go with it today. So, okay. All right, everyone has done it. So what we are going to do now is create an auto layout on it to make the button easier. So we're not making components yet, but if you press Shift A, it now has an auto layout. Did you see the change? There's like a little, on the right-hand side, auto layout has appeared with all of these little things. Can everyone see? Sorry, you can just press on the first name text by pressing Alt drag. You can just press on the first name text by pressing Alt drag. Yeah, yes. You can, and actually that is a really good thing. Thank you for reminding. So yeah, what Minu is saying. So instead of like copy Command C and Command V and then having to like rearrange it, what you can do is click Option and see 2 little arrows appear, and you can just drag down, and that creates another box. But then if you want to have like 20 of these texts and you have dragged in the first, then you press Command D and it just keeps going, keeping exactly the same little spacing in between. Yes, thank you, Minu, for reminding me that. That's actually a really good thing. Okay, so now we have the button here. We have the auto layout, but I see like, oh, 10 on the top is maybe a little too much. I'm going to put 4. That's padding, and that side, actually, you probably can't see it too well because we haven't added a color yet. Let's add a fill. Why don't we create a random, I decided to do it this way. So did everyone manage to change the fill of the button? So if you click on it, there's a fill on the right-hand side. Click Add Fill, and then you can click on it, and you can choose whatever color you want. I added orange, but I also selected the text. And I thought actually on orange, it's easier to read when the color is white. So I changed the fill of the text to white as well. So it can sometimes look confusing when you select the objects together because there will be two places where the colors will appear, but that's that. So, all right, it doesn't necessarily need to be 10 and 4. You can choose whatever you want. So this is a button and we have it ready. And now if we click in the middle, I'm like, oh, I'm not sure whether this is the size of the button that I want. So I'm going to click on the text. Sorry, click on the button. And you can see this little alignment. Now, if I make the button bigger, I still want the text to stay in the middle. So I keep it as is actually. But, you know, if you don't want to, if you want it on one side, you could keep it to the right or to the left. So right in the middle. And now if I select it and I drag it, ta-da, it stays in the middle, which is really, really good. Okay, does everybody have, this is a really big button.
I can join later, but I don't see now the auto layout because I have the
Oh, cool.
I just created the follow like just follow text now.
Okay, so
Missed the part where you
don't worry, it's super easy. So I'm gonna put button. Whoa, button. Button.
I have a like.
Yeah, I actually did a shortcut because it didn't appear there. So I do Shift and A. Oh, sorry. Click on it, Shift and A, and it automatically creates the auto layout.
And but on the panel, was there also like
there wasn't actually. That has changed from the previous time that I looked.
See layouts. And
we can also
write in the chat.
Auto layout. Add auto layout. Okay, rounded corners. Yes, I saw there was a question, Gunita. It's super cool. If you click on this here, appearance, we can make the button be more transparent. But next to it, see, you have these little corners, corner radius. So here I would probably add about, oh no, 20 is too much. Let's do 10, for example. Even less probably, 4. And now we have nice little rounded corners. But if you don't want all the corners to be the same, you can also click on this little button and then, you know, stylize that these 2 corners, for example, are straight and those aren't, if you wanted to. Another thing on the shapes, which won't happen now because we've created the button, but I can show you here, is if you, let's draw a rectangle, for example, again. If you double click into the shape, see, you can also drag it this way. But because we created a button starting the text, not starting the background, that's why we did it after. But you can also create a button after, after creating a rectangle. It works both ways. So if I create a rectangle, then I put button here. I can align it and then Shift A, and it's a button as well. So both ways work. All right. Is everyone following? So you just add a random image. Yeah, you can add random image or even like just change the fill if you want. But adding more padding, bigger edges, curved corners, and then you can work. Exactly, yeah. Oh, that's you writing. So there are many things. Okay, so now we know how to make a button, how to change the corners. Would you like to also know how to change it? I'll just show for those of you who know how to make, have worked a little bit on Figma, you can also just click on the button and select this little star, create component on top. And now it means that it's a component. This is like the mother, the parent component, like the main component. And what it means is, for example, this button we made here, and we can just copy, paste it, and drag it where we need it. But then if I make a change on this button, for example, I suddenly wanted, red here. This button doesn't update. So the point of like the components, although we might not go in today and do it, is that now in the assets, I have created this little button. I'm going to bring this in. But if you click, now this was my mother component, oh, sorry, my parent component. If I now click a different color, it will change it across the entirety of the app. And this is really, really good if your work requires, well, I think in design, everything requires consistency, really. But it means that you won't need to lose sight of something that is in a different color. It keeps everything tight and you can change your mind and not be like held back with another hour of trying to fix things again. All right, so we know how to make buttons. Everyone, can you show it again, please?
I think they either wanted to see how to add the image or how to add the component. I think.
Oh,
I think
okay.
Thing for someone like
No, that's great. That's great.
repeat, you can.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's for the sake of practice anyway. Let's do it again. So choose one of the shapes where you want to add your picture.
Yeah, it can be rectangle.
Yeah, why don't we? And again, if you press Shift, it will be perfect square. All right, so now we have here. And this is a regular fill. There are two ways to do it. I actually don't have an image on my screen, but one way to do it, if you select it, and what I showed before, is I clicked on the fill, I changed it to an image. See this little bit?
The fourth icon.
Fourth icon, yeah. And then you can upload from the computer. I actually have no images nearby on my computer, so I won't do it. So I use this AI option to create an image. Or, yeah, but here you can just leave it as a little, this kind of shows that it's a placeholder for an image. But another thing you can do is if you did have an image on your computer, you press Shift, Command, K, and then you can, I'm wondering, oh, actually I do have, I can add this image. See, I had one image and then I've added it in.
And was it by dropping or like?
I just dropped it in, yeah. So I was holding the image, bringing it in, and you can drop it off anywhere on the canvas, or you can drop it in the shape that you want. But it doesn't really, like, it cuts the head, so I'm gonna, you can like double click and move it around. Or for example, oh, sorry, that's just, let's do like a little radius. I don't really mind that it's a little cropped, but you can fix it as well. Okay, everyone's there? Managed? Okay, got this. Holding Shift, start dropping any image in the shape, and it would also work. Perfect. So yeah, Shift,
now we can
Command, Control.
How to
exactly. So now we have an image. I don't know why it's not like
center.
Yeah, see, like normally it allows me to drag. Oh, perfect. Yeah, it didn't work the first time around.
The image is not square, but your shape is square. You can double click and you can move see around the image. You can also stretch it a bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you want to zoom in.
But last time, the interesting thing that, the thing that Andra also wanted to share is like, for example, if this image is this size, but I want it bigger, don't just do like that because it could, a lot of stuff. Either click Shift and drag, or if you're like, I know I want it exactly this bigger, press K on the screen and see this little thing appears on the side. And it's not just for images, it's for text and other things. So instead of just dragging and hoping for the best, you scale it to exactly what you want. I want it like 3 times the size, and it brings it up to scale. The corners aren't messed up. Everything works. So that's a really good thing to keep in mind. Okay, cool. With text, was everyone all right with the text? Have you added? to assets button. I think with text, probably everyone is okay. So I'm just gonna copy this and bring it down. It's gonna be another Jamie. And now let's do the button. Let's quickly do the button again, and then I'll make it into a component, and then we're gonna see what that can do. All right, text. Say hello, for example. Shift A. Ooh, sorry. Shift A, and now it has the little padding. So I realized I want the background of the button to be the color of the background. So I'm going to quickly press fill. And you see this little pipette or whatever it's called. You click on it and you do that, and ta-da! I've made it in the color that I want. All right, I'm just going to make it a little smaller. Okay. I don't know, I'm going to add it there, for example. We are going to do the corners again, 10, probably less. Perfect. Now we have an auto layout on it. It's connected to the middle. It's hugging the contents. So basically it's not a selected with, I can just bring it out and it'll follow. And now to create a component, again, click this little thing up here. Are you happy with the button? Click it. And now we have another button. So as you can see, if you now go into the assets, I didn't name the frames. So they come up with like 170 something. But I can also go into File, and this is where I am. And I'm going to call it button. Let's say primary button. So now
you already pressed so it's not a layer like
this is like in the layers.
Yeah, but it's already a component.
Yes, because I clicked that little Command K and then it. Oh, sorry.
You press the shortcut.
I actually pressed the little thing up here. See?
Yeah.
Here.
It's like 4 ROMs.
Yeah, exactly.
You can create a component up there. Cool. Then either you press it, or on Windows it's Control Alt K.
Yes.
So for you it's the Control Command.
For me it's Option Command K. Sorry. But it's always really likes all the Ks. Yeah. Always, yeah. Hover around and you'll see the shortcuts for all of the things. Like, or ask here. Exactly. Yeah. And then you're like, ooh, components. Ooh, component. Did I write it right? Component. Create component. Yes. Sorry. Okay, so now we have a little button. Is everyone following around? Would you like to know?
Here, I managed to make a component or a button.
Okay, so we have made a component. We have made a button. And then I can just show you what the beauty of creating a component is. So one, I said that you can drag in, and then keeping up with your brand guidelines is really easy. So if you need to make a poster and only use like 2 or 3 colors, then you can make sure that they're saved on the file. Here in styles, you can save certain colors. Let's say white. Okay, I know the hex code. Another rep. Create style, and see the color will appear here. So that's something you can do once you have like more colors chosen. But another beautiful thing that the components do is, for example, I have this button and it says hello. I'm like, oh, you know what? On a hover, I want it to be a little lighter. But instead of just randomly copying the button and creating another component that will be a different color, you can all like connect it to the existing components. Please stop me if this is a bit too complex. But okay, so here we have this primary button. You see the whole little section up here, primary button, properties, and then select matching layers, add variants, component configuration. We're not going to go in all of those things, but I will show you how to create a different property. So for example, here, let's create a variant. That will be the easiest. And we might stop. So, okay, ta-da. So we have a variant. So basically, this is our main button. So the property essentially means what it is. So this is a primary button. Primary. Oh, why is it all in caps lock for me? primary button. Cool. That is done. Oh, sorry. And see, it says value is default. So it's like the main thing that we have. Now I want to create a different variant, which is hover. So see, you can click a little plus here, add variant, or you can add one here. Both ways work. Add variant here or here. I find it's easier here. Now you clicked it. Awesome. We have two now. Now you go into the second button and we are going to rename this little bit to hover. And now at the moment, it's all the same color, but now we're going to be like, okay, I wanted it a little lighter. Actually, let's do darker. Okay, cool. So I changed the color. It doesn't matter what color you choose. You're like, oh, hey, say hello, say hello. It's hover. So now if I continue building my things, I bring in this button. I'll just drag this away. And see, I can change primary button, default, hover. And that's a really useful thing to do. And not just for applications and things like that. You can, in the future, if you work a lot with text, you can also add
logos, like one logo is white, one is gray. And
exactly, yeah. So all of it is together, and instead of having to like load in yet another thing, you work from the same little thing. But actually, it's really interesting. It's not just about that. Why design systems and components are really important now, and more people are using, because it also is more environmentally friendly. It takes less space. Everyone is more consistent. There are less errors. It's easier for engineers to create that one thing with the different variations instead of having to build so many different things that have very little changes. So basically, now you have learned to bring in a photo, text, and also you've created a button. So I'm going to press K and I'm going to bring out this image a little more. So we did a little auto layout already. Let me just double check the chat. Is everyone okay? Home, it starts screen, and then you. How do I?
those are my answers.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay. All right, we have this. And I'm pretty happy how it looks like it's aligned nicely. I like the button. I might bring, oh, sorry, the K was still on. I might bring the button out here, for example. And I'm like, okay, I want this to be a little UX card, for example. I want this to be a group. I could group it just like that. Or I could also add auto layout on it. So see, the layout, auto layout is visible here. This little like long shape and toggle. So I'm gonna press it and see random things happen. Now that is because the direction of it is going to the right. So think of it as like a little puzzle. These things, remember when we looked at the balance example, there's one shape on this side and the other one on here. Now I want these two things to stay together. So I'm going to group them. So now these two things are still relational, but these move together. And that's really important. Now, if I select it, I can add auto layout. And it just becomes a little easier to move. It's the same thing. Maybe this isn't necessarily the best example because there are only 3 little elements. But think about it if you had, I don't know, I'll snatch this and I'll add it here, for example, and I'm going to randomly expand it. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 elements. I want this to be grouped together. I don't want these to separate, and I'm happy with that. And now we have, see, different things that we can fix, but it moves as a whole. Now this is locked to different places. That's why it looks so confusing. I didn't want to go into like auto layouts deeply because it can be really useful and beneficial if it's used for beginners on a small scale, like up here or on the buttons. It makes sense. But the more you work with complicated UI systems, the more you'll know. For example, I look at this as a newbie, you're like, why doesn't it move around? Because I was like, why does that move? Why does that not move? Why is it not locked? There are different things to look into. So you have to go into files and be like, okay, there's one frame here that has auto layout. There's something here that also has auto layout. And then you need to untangle it because it all works together. So sometimes it can be overcomplicated unnecessarily in the beginner designs. So my suggestion is just keep it simple. So I'm very happy with this tiny little card. So I'm just going to delete this. And I know this is something I'm going to use. I can copy paste it. If there's someone else, I can replace the photo with someone else, change the details, blah, blah, blah. Use it this way, or you could even, if you wanted, you could create a component from this little card. And now if you go into assets, you can bring it in here and it's exactly the same. And you can just blah, blah, blah. Whoops, where did I go? That's one of the things. But another thing that is beautiful with auto layout is, for example, this is auto layout, yeah? If I now select it all, and see, I keep pasting and it keeps going. You can't really see because I have the frame is really, ooh, that did not work as I hoped. Let's do it with balls because it's easier. So I've added auto layout and see, like it goes horizontally. So now I'm gonna select it, Control C, or actually let's use this version. And it all goes to the sides like, oh, it's not doing what I want to do. Something is like heavy. Okay. Auto layouts. And it goes horizontally. But then if I want to change the direction, just toggle it down. The vertical and horizontal is probably the one that you're going to use most. But it's good because if I want to now paste, it will just keep going the right direction, unless like you then want to change the direction. But it's really useful to create grids and stuff like that. I'm very aware that we're heading like close to 8 o'clock, and I don't know, like, how are you all feeling? But although it looks like we have done very little, it actually isn't, because this in Figma is pretty much like the main things that you're going to do. And it's normally about shapes, about composition. So if you look back at all of the principles that we were looking at, it's basically recreating them on this little screen. And not to hold you too long, but on this file, when you're going to get it, there are a couple of little briefs. These are the little things that we spoke about, little things that I suggest you look at and revisit. On Figma.com, there are a lot of free courses, really easy, like 2 minutes long, either videos, or for those of you who like to just read and recreate, could do that. And I would invite you, sadly, we won't be able to do it together. There's a couple of like little briefs that I'd suggest you try to create. One, I think, is like a recipe. So You might want to like create a little image, a little recipe, or choose whichever app you have on a phone and try and recreate the screen. Just simply with shapes. It doesn't need to be any high fidelity stuff. You just need to kind of understand the composition and structure. So yeah, do a screenshot, bring it into Figma, and literally drag those shapes and text around it. And then see like, oh, which things group together? I'm going to group them together. I'm going to add auto layout on these little chunks, and then on that. And little by little, you're going to get much further, and soon you'll just be like detangling these complex systems. Trust me, it's going to happen that soon. And then there's like a little practice for Instagram post. And again, I will share my LinkedIn or later or my contact details. I think last time I was added to chat and I got overwhelmed because there was a lot going on. So not the best maybe to get back instantly, but through Andra and through LinkedIn, I will really try my best to help you out. If you finish any of these tasks, please share it. It'd be my absolute pleasure and joy to see what you've come up with. And yeah.
Also, it's probably good to watch the recording because I think you will find new things because I think it's similar to movies. You watch it once, you see some details, you learn something, then you do it again, and I see some nice work. And definitely,
Awesome.
many of you managed it. And if you didn't manage to make the same things as Linda made, just repeat it, watch it again, and ask questions for sure. Yeah, you can contact Linda later.
Oh, no. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. You don't need to do the screenshots. You're gonna get this file, so you're gonna you'll see it. But also with the perfect layout size, there's actually one thing that I do want to show. Do you still see my Figma screen? Can you all see my Figma screen in Zoom as well?
Yeah, obviously.
Cool. So one thing in community that I would really suggest you to do when it comes to layouts, this little book, if you click on it, it gives you libraries, and you can go into the community and look for one. But this probably Material 3 design kit is one that's used a lot. Okay. And there are many from Figma, from Apple, from you name it.
You should also probably mention it.
Yeah, and you can do like the layout grids if you want on your own, because there's like knowledge and system for it as well. Or you can just go in and, for example, here, layout guides, I'm going to click these 4 things, click on material design. And for this, I think I used this one. Oh, no. But then you can just click on it again.
So and it's just like pre-made guides you can use when you design something.
Exactly. Or you could do it on your own. You can click here and go like, oh, I want a grid, I want column, I want rows, and find a way that works for you. But
I think one fun way would be just like exploring on your own, just press everything and check what everything does. I think the first step is to understand the possibilities that you can create. And then, of course, then after that, you can train yourself and find the right things for the right time you're making.
But I know we have just one little minute, but I will quickly share the presentation because I wanted. Well, can you see the presentation? I know you can.
We see it also on Zoom.
In the Zoom, perfect. So you could have a look at these questions. You don't need to like answer them now, but as you maybe go home or whenever you want to reflect on this, just have a look. And if there's anything that you'd like to share, if there were some good things that you really took away and that were very useful, please share it with me. And also if there's something that didn't work, also please share it, because this is the second time I'm doing the workshop. First time I spoke too much. This time I spoke less and we did more stuff in design. But you live and learn, and you have to kind of mold these things. So I'm very open to all sorts of feedback, and I'd be very grateful if you do drop me a line and say your thoughts. I do hope you have taken something. See, scale, large scale. My sister's favorite photo of me. But also, if you still have the FIGMA file, there are a couple of things that are hidden. I'm wondering if I can see it here. Can you see it also on Zoom? Or not really?
I see the big general.
Yeah. Okay. And then if you open these up, these are the little design fails, and like just tickle yourselves of how bad it can be. Like, this is deceiving. That is a cleaning liquid. This is dark UX. And this is one of my favorite. You are not alone, making you feel that you are very alone. And it's just a little matter of contrast. So you can go through these little fails, which, once in a while when going to sleep, I just put board pen and I look at all of these little things, and it makes me, like, I think this was one of my favorite, a guy talking about how you need to do these design elements and get everything's like crowded together. So yeah, I'll leave you with this. It's see, like this is really interesting. It's sad, tragic, but also quite funny. Like another designer center, which is just interesting. Plenty, yeah, plenty of things there. Like the internet is full of those things. But I am so very grateful for you being here. Thank you.
We have one last question about the resolution, because there are, like in the other programs, for example, in InDesign or Illustrator, you have a resolution. For example, for printing, you use 300 dots per inch. And can you achieve something similar to Figma, or in general, it's not meant for printing, so you don't have the resolution? Because I haven't
You can export like different qualities. Okay. So if I go into the Figma here, the beauty about Figma, you don't need to export the entire file. You can just select what you want, and then go down, export, and then you can different. I'm thinking PNGs, SVGs probably will be a better quality
kind of like
PNG because they'll be vector.
Kind of guess it, and then, for example, just make a PNG, but it's like 3 times bigger, 4 times bigger. It's not gonna be exactly, but I know it's gonna be large enough for some printing.
Yeah,
printing needs more pixels.
Printing, then I would definitely.
Or maybe Google or ask ChatGPT, like what would be the, I know, conversion rate, but maybe there's a smarter way. But I just use it like a kind of this guessing way. I just make large frames.
Yeah,
they're like too large for web. But I know that sometimes they print posters for these events. Yeah. And then I'm just I'm just always trying to, because you can still use the same file and you just can make it really large and print it out, but maybe for like very specific numbers, like it's 300 exactly. Probably you have to search around and see what's the best way, or other people suggest.
But also, like I think what would resolve a lot of it is make sure that when you do create your designs, you choose the right size of that space. For example, if I worked in e-learning and we'd create these buttons, and they would be exactly for the screen of like desktop. Yeah, but then they would be blown up and be like, it doesn't work. But then we need to like create a much bigger screen in Figma and then adopt all of the buttons, because you can make pixel perfect things in Figma. Like it's really good.
It's very very pixel screen oriented, and I would say also for social media it works really well. We use it for social media. We're like
flashery.
So it has many uses. It's different from other programs. It may not be the same as Illustrator, but then in some cases it will be easier, and in some cases maybe it will take longer time. But thank you very much for joining.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All of the material.
And say feel so happy. Thank you so much, guys.
Excuse me, Linda, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Hi. Do you know, there must have been something to do with the time zones, but I thought this was beginning at 8 o'clock and just joined. Is there any way I can get the material?
Of course, if you have registered, we will send out the presentation as well as the recording, then you can just watch it on your own space, because we are in Riga and the time zone probably was different for you. So anyway, thank you that you could join us now.
Whereabouts will I find the material?
Sorry?
Whereabouts will I find the material from today?
Have you registered through registration link that was in Luma, this Luma page? Or you can if you want to like really make sure, you can drop in your email and then we will add it to the email list and send it out with all other registrations.
Great.
Yeah. So we will wait for your email. Those who need to go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
And yeah, really.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love the recording, so thank you very much.
Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah, for those of you who had signed up for the previous date, I'm sorry, I was sick, but thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, we've had to
I'm
change,
so grateful,
but
yeah.
in the end, we anyway had a very pleasant meeting. Thank you.